MAGA's just missing the D. My roommate and I just figured it out. MAGA's just missing the D. It needs to be Magda. Make America greatly depressed again. The Great Depression, tariffs from the...
Why is this so stupid?
Obama. My roommate...
Wait, who the f is this guy? The f
And I just figured it out. MAGA's just missing the D. It needs to be Magda. Make America greatly depressed again. The Great Depression, tariffs from the... Obama. My roommate and I just figured it out. MAGA's just missing the D.
You like the worst reels on Instagram? It's insane. Whenever I see your profile pic in the like thing. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, okay? Other people must do this, okay? Every time I'm doing like reels and I have a person next to me, they're always judging me a lot, okay? So here's my thinking. If I see a reel and it has over 500,000 likes and I don't laugh, I always like these reels. And then the person I'm with will be like, why did you like that? You didn't even understand it. You didn't think it's funny. And my response is, my rationale is, well, if it got over 500,000 likes, either I'm not understanding something, or they'll probably post other stuff in the future that's also funny. And I don't want to tell the algorithm, don't show me these highly thumbs up liked posts. So I have to like them even if I don't think they're funny. Okay. Do you understand? So if you see a super, now most of what I like is funny. I'd say a good 60% of it. But there might be things that I like that I don't think are funny or don't understand, but I don't want to miss future stuff by those creators by not liking stuff that I just don't get. Do you know what I mean? Somebody has to understand this. This can't be the...
Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang should be getting on stage right about now. And he's going to be talking about something different from us. We will be talking about how we feel like Nvidia has been threatening the media with access, or at least us, how it builds relationships between the press and engineers and then later uses those to manipulate the media, and how its executives throw its own employees under the bus whenever the press exposes something like this. Jensen will be talking about
artificial intelligence
and burying the RTX 5060 launch. For the last 6 months, Nvidia has been pressuring us under threat of access to include MFG, or multi-frame generation 4X, on charts alongside devices that don't even support it, even though we've said that it's not a like for like.
Do you think Yeet/Dan actually have a case against EE for a false DMCA strike? The way that I read copyright stuff, you can't just rip a 30-second clip and throw it up on Twitter and then call it your own. That would be my initial reading of it. However, I believe that Sargon of Akkad, didn't he win a court case? Now, this might have been in the UK, that basically said you could do that, that putting text around a tweet can count as a transformative thing, so it's no longer considered a derivative work, but it would be fair use. I don't know what how a court would always rule on that, but...
like comparison, and that it would be an unfair misrepresentation and outright lie to even do as much. We've also heard from much smaller media how Nvidia has slithered into their DMs to offer samples under specific guidelines. At this point, we think it's time to share some of this to protect those smaller outlets, but also make sure consumers are aware of what Nvidia is doing behind the scenes and what we thought was a transparent and open communication with engineering, and what has become something we think is more sinister. And I guess this might destroy the possibility of working with Nvidia at any point in the near future, because it is a kind of scorched earth approach, but that's the GN Chef special. Scorched earth. Intel's been on the list.
Is quoting what someone is saying enough for that? What? No, you can't. Oh, you mean enough for it to be fair use? Oh, I have no idea.
AMD's been on the list. Nvidia's been on the list, and off the list, and on the list, and off the list, and on the list. And they're on the list again now. Nvidia's restriction of the newest RTX 5060 review units and drivers is interesting, where they're not distributing drivers until launch day, but it's not special. Today is about, in our opinions, Nvidia's malignant poisoning of the media by creating a facade of open access to its people and then using those people like poker chips to subversively try to advance a certain narrative, even though it already controls 90% of the market. And less than ever, Nvidia has needed to engage in subterfuge and manipulation, and yet more than ever...
Okay, sorry, because I've been behind on like actual games and graphics and shit. Have you guys all just like accepted that half the frames that you see now in video games are like fake? Are you guys like all on that? You're all on board with that now? And that's cool? Or Okay. Did you see the DHS not know what habeas corpus is?
Secretary, Noam, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country.
No,
It's that the president has. Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right
let me stop you, ma'am.
Suspend their right
Habeas
to-
corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
President
Habeas
Lincoln, you-
corpus.
So maybe I'm too content brained, but all of these hearings are literally for TikTok content. That's the whole point of these things. I feel like the senator, she shouldn't interrupt her at all. She should let her continue to explain. I would very much like to hear you talk for a minute. Tell me what you think habeas corpus is. That's a pretty astounding thing for somebody in this position to not know.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply
do
arrest
secret arrests,
people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely
with
for
no trial
reason.
and no charges.
Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea. As a senator from the live free or die state, this matters a lot to me and my constituents and to all Americans. Support the core
I would end it here. Like, I'm sorry. I just let the record show that the fucking what is her job? She's head of the Department of Homeland Security. Doesn't know what habeas corpus is. Well, how can you not know this? Wait, what? What does habeas corpus mean in Latin? No Google. Oh fuck. Hold on. I know I've seen it written somewhere. I don't know. To be, like, it's not like to be brought before a body or presented before a body. It's not something like that. I don't know. Fuck Latin. Who cares? I don't know. What is it? Habeas corpus translation. You should have the body or you must produce the person. Oh, so, okay. Yeah, I'll get like a 50% on that. If I did the ChatGPT open answer thing, okay. It would have accepted it. It would have glazed me. Wait. Hold on, I'm about to destroy my entire political career. What was the prompt for, did you see Atria got 9.5 out of 10? Yeah, but he did the essay one. What was the prompt for, the geopolitics quiz? If I do it for Israel-Palestine, can I pass that? Do you see the tears you in the Atria comment about it? Yeah, I can't tell if he was shit stirring or if he was just memeing, or I feel like I've seen that guy type lefty shit online though, so maybe he hates me on. Can you generate a 10-question multiple choice quiz that someone who has studied the history of Israel and Palestine should be able to answer? Is this like this? Oh wait, hold on, this guy has it. Create a quiz on the subject of, instead of geopolitics, do Israel/Palestine that you think an experienced political commentator should be able to answer. Hide the answers. Okay. You turn off the VOD. End stream. If it doesn't work. All right. Wait. Good luck. Do I need to click like reason or do any of these things? Okay. Let's go. Oh boy. Which of the following statements best reflects the legal and diplomatic significance of United Nations Security Council Resolution 242 in the context of the Israel-Palestine conflict? Resolution 242 was the one that basically it's the one that always gets quoted when they talk about like right of return and the prior borders and all that bullshit. And okay, it mandated the immediate recognition of Palestine state within the 67 borders by all UN member states. I don't think it was A. It called for Israel's withdrawal from all occupied territories in the Six-Day War, explicitly referencing East Jerusalem and the West Bank. Ooh, I feel like the answer could be B, but this is not true. C, it called for the withdrawal of Israel armed forces from territories occupied in the 67 conflict and the recognition of every state's right to live in peace within secure... Oh, I think it's C. It nullified the Balfour Declaration. Okay. Okay, I'll write answer somewhere. We'll say C. That's a tricky one. Sometimes people say it's B, but it's not. Okay. Let me know when you want to reveal the correct answer if you'd like more questions. Oh. More? Do I do more questions? I'm supposed to ask for 10 questions. Now you guys fucked me up. Well, here, real quick. What is the answer? Oh, okay, 100% basically. Can you give me 9 more questions? Was the primary objective of the 93 Oslo I Accord signed between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization to finalize the borders of a two-state solution? Well, not really. Oh, no, show the answer! I saw C. You fucked us. Okay, hold on, I'll scroll down slowly. But it wasn't a final thing. It was piecemeal because they wanted to model it after the, I believe the peace agreement with Egypt in 79 was piece by piece for the returning of the Sinai and everything. To transfer full sovereignty of the West Bank to the Palestinian Authority? I mean, no, because they split it up into areas A, B, and C. Although eventually they might have wanted to transfer all of it, maybe, down the line, but that wasn't. And to establish a framework for future negotiations, mutual recognition between Israel and the PLO. A framework for future negotiations. This is like the closest one, I think. Yeah. And to recognize Jerusalem as an undivided capital of Israel, definitely not. I think C is the closest. Okay, and that's C. Okay, all right. Just go down slowly. Shh. Okay. 3. Which of the following best explains the international legal status of Israeli settlements in the West Bank, according to the majority of the global community? They're going to say it's all illegal, obviously. They are considered legal due to Israel's security risks? No. They are illegal under international law, violating the 4th Geneva Convention. I don't remember the 4th Geneva Convention, but I'm pretty sure it's B. They're legal because the West Bank is disputed, not occupied? No. And they are legal if approved by the Israeli Supreme Court, based. So the answer is almost certainly B, right? Answer B, okay. 4. What were the outcomes of the 2006 Palestinian legislative elections that significantly shifted the political landscape in the Palestinian territories? Oof. Hamas, with a plurality of the vote, won a majority of the seats, which caused big mad in a lot of Israel. So A, Fatah retained control of both Gaza and the West Bank. No. Hamas won a majority, leading to a political split with Fatah, yes. A unity government was formed between Hamas and Israel, no. And Mahmoud Abbas was elected president of both Gaza and the West Bank, no. So it's B here, right? The 47 UN Partition Plan Resolution 181 proposed what solution to the British Mandate of Palestine? It was a bad, people got mad at this one. Resolution 181 proposed splitting it, dividing it into 2 states, which was a big deal. So a binational Jewish-Arab state under international trusteeship? No. Although I think they floated that idea. I don't know if it was part of Resolution 181 or not. But I think in Resolution 181 they might have said Jerusalem should be under international guardianship, but I don't know. Full Arab control of the land with Jewish cultural autonomy? No. The division of Palestine into independent Jewish and Arab states with Jerusalem under international administration? Oh, yes, yeah. So C is the answer for this, I think. A single state solution? No. Answer is C. Okay. 6. What is the significance of the right of return in the context of the Israel-Palestine conflict? Well, the significance is that there's a whole bunch of Palestinians that want to go back to Israel. And Israel tries to recruit all the Jews to go back to Israel, too. Refers to Israel's right to reclaim pre-48 Jewish settlements? No. It's a principle asserting that Palestinian refugees and their descendants have the right to return to the... Yes, B. Israeli government's policy allowing Jews worldwide to immigrate to Israel. It kind of seems like C, because I think Jews also call it like right of return. Don't they? Or am I making that up? But the answer is almost certainly B. Refers to Jordan's legal claim of the West Bank? No. Answer is B? Okay. Which of the following leaders was assassinated by Jewish extremists in 1995 due to his role in the peace process? RIP. That was Rabin, and he was killed by... I don't remember the guy who killed him. But I do know that weeks before he was assassinated, the crazy far-right party did like a demonstration where they walked... They had like... I think they had Rabin's portrait on like a black coffin. And Netanyahu was part of that march. And then he gets like assassinated, I think like a few weeks later. RIP! Not good. Begin was early prime minister in Israel. He was the one that was the prime minister when Israel finalized peace with Egypt. He was part of the Irgun. I think he came from Poland. This guy has a crazy life. Shimon Peres was prime minister for a while. I don't remember anything about him. I feel like he didn't do anything important, but I'm pretty sure he was a PM for a while. Shimon Peres. Yitzhak Rabin, that was the one. It's also a famous quote by him that's oftentimes weaponized by Palestinians, where they say, you guys said Rabin was for peace, but Rabin said that he just wished that Gaza would break off and sink into the ocean. And the quote is something, he says something like that, like, sometimes I wish Gaza would just break off and sink into the sea. But it's just because the situation and everything was such a clusterfuck and it was so complicated. It was like, Jesus, just fucking, yeah. People like to make that quote, though, to say, even the peaceful ones wanted them all to die, which is not really true, but... And then Ariel Sharon, who was the prime minister, did the disengagement from Gaza in 2005, and then stroked the fuck out afterwards. The answer is C, right? Okay. 8. Which territory did Israel unilaterally disengage from in 2005, removing all of its settlements' military presence? So that was under Sharon, and that was the Gaza Strip. There were a few settlements in the West Bank as well, but... 9 is which of these serves the current status of Jerusalem under international law? I think all of it is still considered occupied. It is universally recognized as Israel's capital. No. Stop! It is considered a corpus separatum, separate body under UN resolution. I don't think so. It is legally Palestinian territory under occupation, and it's the capital of both Israel and Palestine under the Oslo Accords. I don't actually know the answer to this. I mean, like, when they say Jerusalem, are they including East Jerusalem as well? Because I think everybody recognized it. No, because there was the moving of the embassy was a big deal when the U.S. did it. My guess under this would be D, but it could be A. But my guess is going to be D. It's going to be C. I'm just kidding. D. B, it's considered a corpus separatum under UN resolution. Oh, I have no idea. I've never heard that before. Resolution 181, no? Does that still apply? Resolution 181 was rejected, so... Like, this was meant to be a UN-administered demilitarized international city. That was the goal for 181, but 181, remember, didn't get implemented. It was rejected. None of the Arabs accepted it. But maybe it's still considered a separate thing? I have no idea. I've never, if that's the case, I've never heard that before. But, I don't know. Okay, 10. The Arab Peace Initiative, first proposed in 2002, offered normalization of relations between Arab states and Israel in exchange for what main condition? Ooh, the Arab Peace Initiative. Is it going to be right of return? Israel accepting Palestinian refugees back within its borders. I think it's A. Israel withdrawing to pre-67 borders and agreeing to a Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. Israel granting dual citizenship to all West Bank Palestinians. Appeal organizing Israel. Ooh, it could be B. What was the first? I don't remember the border thing being spoken about as part of the Arab Peace Initiative. It could be 67 borders, but I don't think so. And giving up all of... It's got to be A. I'm leaning strongly towards A. Fuck! It is B. Okay. I think A is a part of it, though. There's no way that the Arab Peace Initiative sacrifices any of the right of return to Israel proper. I don't believe that. There's absolutely no shot. Yeah, they always have this term in here. A just settlement of the Palestinian refugee problem. And then they'll base it on earlier UN resolutions, but all of this is always like left up in the air. Nobody actually defines what this means. Because I think Ulmert offered Abbas initially, I think his first number was like 20,000. And then I think Abbas just didn't respond. So B is definitely a part of it, but the refugee thing is a really, really big deal. If we were to ask for like the hardest possible thing, now ask for hard mode. Create an incredibly difficult 10-question quiz on the subject of Israel-Palestine that you think a seasoned political commentator should be able to answer. People are saying reason, but do I do the reason thing or do the version where you have to write your answers in short form? I feel like short form things are easier to bullshit, and I feel like it'll give me credit for all of it. I don't know. Dude, how much stuff could they possibly be making noise on? Hide the answers until the end of the quiz. I can never be a prompt engineer. True. Whew, okay, good luck. Which legal argument is most commonly cited by Israel to contest the application of the Fourth Geneva Convention to the West Bank? Oh my God, which legal argument? The only one, when I argued with that one, the Zionist legal scholar guy, his strongest legal argument was that the expiration of the British mandate declared that the emergent government in the land would inherit all of the territory. So technically, all of it should belong to Israel. I don't know if that would even be in here, but that was the... I don't even know. Okay, let's see what we got. Hey. Oh, wait, this is just for the West Bank. Well, no, okay. The West Bank was not recognized as sovereign territory prior to 67. That's true. The convention does not apply to long-standing territorial disputes. Okay, I don't know about that one. The convention only applies to interstate conflicts. Ooh, could be that one. And the convention was superseded by the Oslo Accords. West Bank was not recognized as sovereign territory prior to 67. I'm going to guess one is as A. That's my guess. During the 1948 Arab-Israeli... Oh, shit. Hold on. Wait, I got to do that real quick. Oh, my God. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I should have been more... This was my fault. Hold on. Sorry. One sec. There's a guy who... I'm doing like some debate thing at the end of the month at like a college or whatever. But I have another Zoom link from this guy for another debate thing today. And I thought we'd just reschedule that for the college thing. But apparently it was a second thing. Wait, I might have to join this right now. But I would be like 25 minutes late. I'm not sure. Hold on. Dude. Is it supposed to be live or pre-recorded? No, I think I can do it live. Fuck, I'm so stupid. I should have just emailed and asked instead of assuming that we'd reschedule this. I'm so dumb. Let me join. Hold on. Dude, the thing that is gonna drive me crazy. These noises have to stop. Oh, I need a video of what they're working on. Oh, never mind. This isn't even. I'm so dumb. I'm just so stupid. Okay, hold on. I just need to chat with this guy for a second. Hold on, give me a minute. I'll be right back. 1 sec. Okay, sorry. It was just a short meeting. I'm just fucking mindfucked myself. Okay, where were we? During the 48 Arab-Israeli war, I actually just scrolled down and I read all the answers, so now I'm doing these, so I can pretend I know what I'm... Okay. During the 1948 Arab-Israeli war, what was Plan Dalet and how has its interpretation influenced historical debates? What actually was Plan Dalet? I believe that Plan Dalet it was a military plan on how to attack, if they needed to how to attack. I don't know if it was including to clear out, but if it's how to attack basically all of the Arabs that lived within the Palestinian mandate, or the British mandate for Palestine, basically. A coordinated Arab military campaign to push into Jewish territory. Oh, I can scroll because the answers aren't. A Haganah plan aimed at securing Jewish settlements and roads, controversial interpreted by some as a blueprint for the expulsion of Palestinians. Ooh, that's a very pro-Zionist phrasing there. Okay, base ChatGPT. A British proposal for partitioning Palestine into ethnic cantons, and the basis for Egypt's withdrawal from Gaza under pressure from the UN. Okay, all right. It's definitely be here. Sounds like Hans Zimmer is conducting an orchestra for Inception 2 in the background. True. Which Israeli Supreme Court ruling set a precedent regarding the legality of the separation barrier, acknowledging both security concerns and humanitarian implications. The names of court cases? Come on, what? Well, hold on. Unless they play really dirty, I'm trying to think. I believe the separation barrier in like the Green Line, I think that went up in response to the second Intifada. So we would expect to see it between 2000 and 2005. They probably built it more towards the end. Maybe they started early. That'd be my guess. Ooh, okay. So, like, it's not, I don't think, they wouldn't have built the separation barrier earlier, right? That wouldn't make any sense. I think that separation barrier was built in response to the second Intifada. So, Beit Saruk Village Council versus the government of Israel. Or Qaddan versus Israel Land Authority. I'm going to guess A. I'm doing it based on the litigants because it's the government of Israel. And then I'm going to guess, because of the year, I'm going to guess A. I'm not sure if you've tried it before, but you can ask for legal scenarios. You have to reply and then ask it to review your reasoning and point out potential flaws or consequences. Okay. Four. Which UN General Assembly resolution in 75 equated Zionism with racism, and when was it formally revoked? Jesus, I don't know. It wasn't Resolution 181. We know that, because this was in 47. Resolution 3379? No clue. Never even heard of that before. Resolution 194? No. That just called for a right, I think, for like Palestinian refugees, I think. Isn't 194 the one that gets cited here, I believe? And 478? I've never heard of B or D. My guess is going to be B, and I'm only saying that like revoked in 91 because like maybe fall of the Soviet Union revoked it. That's my guess. I'm going to guess B. Which clause of the Oslo II Accord granted the Palestinian Authority civil and security control over certain urban centers while dividing the West Bank into areas A, B, and C? What clause? I don't know. Annex 3, Protocol Concerning Civil Affairs, Article 11 of the main agreement, Annex 4, Security Arrangements, and Article 17, Jurisdiction and Legal Matters. Come on. What? It would probably be one of the articles, right? Because it's like of the main agreement or jurisdiction and legal jurisdiction, legal matters. I'm going to guess B or D again. I'm going to guess D. Damn, dude. Which pivotal document of 1988 marked the first explicit recognition of Israel by the PLO, aligning with UN Security Council resolutions 242 and 338? Ooh. Oslo Letter of Mutual Recognition. Oslo Accords didn't happen yet, right? Cairo Declaration. Sounds familiar. I don't remember it. PLO's 10-point program. That sounds familiar, but I might be totally inventing that. Palestinian Declaration of Independence? I don't think so. 10-point program. Cairo Declaration. I want to say A or B. Pivotal document. 1988. Explicit recognition of Israel by the PLO, aligning with UN Security Council resolutions 242. In 88, would it be Cairo PLO's 10-point program? 10-point program. Declaration of Independence. In 88, Palestinian Declaration. What happened? What is even happening in 1988? These are like that's like the lost decade. I don't know anything about Israel from like 1980 to 1991. What was going on over there? Cairo kind of makes sense, I guess. The Cairo Declaration. Would you call it that if it had to do with the PLO? I'm gonna guess B. Fuck it. 6B. What is the legal status of the 1980 Israeli Basic Law on Jerusalem according to UN Security Council Resolution 478? Recognized as valid within Israel but not internationally. Accepted by UN but not enforced. Declared null and void by the international community. Formally integrated into the UN Charter under Chapter 7. Israeli Basic Law on Jerusalem. I don't even know what this is. We'll say C, because the international community hates recognizing anything from Israel, so we'll just say C. Fuck it. Which Israeli political figure resigned from his post in protest of the 82 Sabra and Shatila massacre following the findings of the Khan Commission? Ooh, I think that was it's not Mayan. Doshe, it's not Mayan. What's his last name? Was it him? Moshe Dayan. I think it was him, right? He was the Minister of Defense at that point, right? I believe so. Which is the main legal argument used by proponents of the Palestinian case to claim that Israel's annexation of East Jerusalem is invalid under international law. East Jerusalem is part of historic Palestine. Annexation violates UN charters, prohibition of access to territorial force. The area is demilitarized under the 49 armistice agreements. East Jerusalem has never been legally defined under Israeli law. Bro, I don't know. I guess B? The area is demilitarized. It shouldn't be C, no? B. I guess B. Which major Arab state signed a peace treaty with Israel in 94? That's Jordan. Okay. Give me a 50. If I get a 50%, then it counts. Okay. 50% counts. All right. Answer. Number 1. A. Yes. Number 2. B. Yes. 3. A. Yes. Okay. 4. B. Yes. All right. 5. Ooh, was B, not D. Imagine not memorizing all of the articles and annexes of the Oslo Accords. What's wrong with you fucking retards? Number 6 is C. It was the Palestinian Declaration of Independence. Fuck, okay. Dipshits. 7. C. Whew, okay. I think we guessed that one. But it was like process of elimination, so that counts. Okay. 8. Ariel Sharon. Fuck! It was Sharon. Fuck! I thought that could have been possible too. I thought Dayan was involved in that as well. Maybe not, actually. He might have been dead by that point. I know that Dayan was involved in... Oh my god, no, because everybody might have resigned in 73. I think. The whole cabinet did, right? Yeah, he was already dead. Fuck! Dumbass. Loser. Idiot. It was Sharon. Okay. 9. B. The UN Charter forbids acquiring terror. Okay. And Tennessee. Jordan. Okay. Hey, you know what? 7 out of 10. We take that. All right. Sharon was the Minister of Defense and he knew about the massacre as it was happening. He gave the order to let it happen. Yeah, I remembered that. I just didn't remember if it applied to Diane or Sharon. But I should have thought more about because this happened in the context of the first Lebanon war. And Diane would have been too old. Well, yeah, we looked it up. He was already dead. So it was Sharon. Yeah. I should have thought about it. I should have thought about the timeline more on that. That's all we can do now is kill her in a video game. Just kidding. Do non-multiple choice questions. What do you want? Everybody's about to get banned if this guy's a legitimate fucking schizo. If you're wasting my time. What do you want?
Oh, hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Alright, you need to stake a hard position on this, okay? Do you agree with the 1999 Serbian bombings?
I don't have a strong enough background to know. Why?
Okay, well, something happened. NATO was like, stop doing it. They didn't listen, they kept doing it, and we interfered and it stopped, basically.
Okay.
Let's say if Israel, let's say a good amount of people die due to the blockades of aid, let's say 50, whatever, comparable to Serbia and some of the villages.
Okay.
Would you agree with intervention if Israel just doesn't listen? Like it is right now, currently.
Sure.
No, but that's a yes, right? You would be in favor.
Assuming all the facts were the exact same, yeah. But I don't have a strong background on like fucking Yugoslavia or any of the shit that was involved in any of this bullshit. But
okay,
Albanians, well, no, because my question is like, were Albanians like committing like terrorist attacks against like Serbians or whatever? Was this happening?
Yes. Yeah, like they would go to villages and kill like indiscriminately everyone, a village to village. But I mean, that's a different war crime than stopping aid and people dying because of it. But yeah.
Okay, I guess the thing is I don't know enough about the stuff related to the Yugoslavia stuff to know if I would 100% support it.
If you ignore that,
yeah.
Just for Israel specifically, as we speak, obviously they keep saying it for like 12 months. You know, they're about to starve, But let's say now, 50 people die. Let's say half of them are civilians, whatever the number is. And they don't listen. And US doesn't really put pressure on, but the European countries do, but they just still don't listen. And 50 people die. Are you for intervention at that point?
If it was the case, because you caveated with they've been lying about food not being there for years or whatever. If it was the case that Israel was legitimately blocking everything going into the Gaza Strip, like food and aid or whatever, then yeah, I think you'd 100% be justified in a full kinetic opening of those borders. Is that not the
case right now? As we
I don't know, and I wouldn't trust anything that I'm getting, told secondhand immediately. I would have to go read through all this shit because every single time in the past has been a fucking lie over the past year and a half. But if that was the case, then yeah, you can't starve millions of people. You can't starve thousands of people. That would be insane. Yeah, I would support that. Yes.
Okay, all right. Assuming because European countries have jointly, in the last 6 hours, have said that. But again, it might. I mean, you're right. It could be a lie. But so if it is true. Let's say 50 people die. That's just a number because it's similar to one of the villages or whatever in Serbia. You would be for it.
It doesn't have anything to do with how many people die or the number of villages or whatever the fuck else. It would just be like if Israel was legitimately blocking all food and aid going into there. Like even if it was only 10,000 people that live there, that would be like I think you would have like a justification for like a kinetic response to forcibly open the border or something.
Well, I'm pretty sure Netanyahu's getting pushback with his cabinet. Due to AIDS.
I don't know what you're shifting the argument now to the empirics. I don't know the answer to the empirics. I haven't read it at all, so nothing you say here I'm going to be able to respond to.
Okay, all right. That's if that's fine then. All right, see ya.
Bye. Good one. Rage rate? Don't. Why are you linking Kelly Jean tweets? This dipshit is too stupid to even know her fucking mental and physical illnesses. Why would you ever quote her on anything related to the law? Please stop. Oh shit, this might be important. Hold on. We didn't even finish this video. I'm putting this on the back burner. After. I really, really, really don't like that this is not being spoken about by every single person constantly. I feel like I actually... Well, hold on. I'm trying to think if... Just because I was linked this right now. That I'm recent biasing it. The full court attack on the press from Donald Trump is the worst, I think is the worst and most obviously authoritarian feature of the current administration. I mean, there's so much. Seeing Facebook change positions on regulating fake news after Donald Trump truths out that Mark Zuckerberg maybe should be locked in prison for life. Like, that's just, that on its own is just an insane sequence of events. Obviously, the suing media places for defamation, having certain media companies give in because they're worried that federal agencies are going to start blocking mergers, seeing Donald Trump, obviously the EOs on the law firms. That was John Oliver's main segment. Yeah, I see this video. I'm guessing it's summarizing all of that. I think it's really, really, really important. I think that's just a totally indefensible, insane facet of the current administration. Jesus. Okay, wait. We'll finish this in a sec. Quick meme break.
I don't actually understand how billionaires avoid paying taxes. Loans. You keep saying that, but how do you pay the loans back? I don't. What do you do when you run out of money? I get another loan. I don't get it. I think that most people understand at this point that I don't really make a big salary. I own parts of companies. And banks are more than happy to use that as collateral to lend me.
I know there's like a big talking point that everybody likes to focus on, but at the end of the day, the tax footprint here is not going to be very big. This is not like this is not the biggest issue facing taxation of wealthy people right now. This is like the one issue that, for some reason, progressives have coalesced on obsessing over for the past decade. I don't.
Real money. What do you use for the down payment? Oh, gross. No, I don't do that. You see, poor people well, what's your net worth? Oh, I don't way less than $1 million. Oh, okay. So will you borrow money that you don't have? I have the money. It's just locked up in equity. I don't do down payments. And as long as the loan is still earning interest, the bank doesn't really need their money back. But if you never actually pay them, isn't it just pretend? Oh, my sweet, sweet child. Fractional reserve banking would kill you. How do banks make money? By lending it out. Why call in my loan just to lend it back out to risky poor people? No offense. So you can just borrow billions until you're dead, as long as my net worth keeps going up. What if it drops and you don't have more collateral to give to the bank? I would probably create a shell company to bail me out. That seems
What? Also, when you're arguing philosophy, and for some reason everybody arguing philosophy likes to bring up like quantum mechanics, or like when a non-mathematician invokes like Gödel's like incompleteness theorems or something, like you always know like, oh god, I'm about to hear the dumbest shit in the universe, okay? Whenever somebody utters the phrase shell company, you're also always gonna hear bad shit. I don't think I've ever heard somebody invoke the term shell company and then actually walk through like, how would a shell company help here? In what way? Can you please explain this? But
what if it drops and you don't have more collateral to give to the bank? I would probably create a shell company to bail me out. That seems complicated. We can talk about that another time. If I can't get creative, which is extremely rare, hopefully there's a favorable tax code. Otherwise, I might let the bank seize my assets that I used as collateral. Doesn't that look bad? Sure, but you don't pay capital gains tax if you never realize the gain. But that's a last resort. Otherwise, you just avoid taxes until you die. And then the estate handles it? Oh shit, that's actually the best part. When I die, my assets get reevaluated on a step-up cost basis. Why would I possibly know what that means?
I don't think he knows what the stepped-up basis, where that comes from, but okay.
Right, yeah, you probably never know anyone that's died with money. Basically, what I paid for the assets, it's reset to what they're worth when I died. So, no capital gains tax. Wow, paid possibly know what that means. Right, yeah, you probably never know anyone that's died with money.
You don't have to die with money to step up your basis. That's literally anybody that, like anybody with a house that dies would have the same thing applied, or anybody with any stock ever would have the same thing applied. But
Basically, what I paid for the assets, it's reset to what they're worth when I died. So no capital gains tax.
but only up to whatever the inheritance tax deduction amount is allowed, which makes sense. It's just...
Wow. Does the method in which you die change anything? Oh, why would it? I'm just asking for a friend. Like, if there was an accident, but there were no witnesses and someone tried to save you, but they failed, like, would said hero still get a reward? I'm gonna leave now.
A shell company can help you pay journalists obscene amounts of money like the Russians did. Yeah, but that's illegal. It's not good. Buy, borrow, die is not empirically real. It's not empirical. What, isn't like people don't do it? Like even if they did, the amount of like tax incidents, like this is just not at all. I don't know why people will do anything. You ever meet somebody? I'm not calling anybody out. This isn't about anybody in particular. But like you ever meet somebody and it's like they're 5'9", they weigh 340 pounds. And then you meet them and they're doing like some new like either fad diet or detox or some other thing like, oh, I shake my leg when I'm at my computer desk to micro movements to burn calories. And you look at them and it's like, listen, there's one exercise you need to do. And they're called fork put downs. Okay. And that's it. But they have like all these weird micro techniques to try to manage it. And it's like, listen, you just need to stop doing this. You just need to eat less. That's it. Okay. All this other stuff might help on the margins, but this is like 98% of your issue can be solved with this one thing. When it comes to taxes, okay, fund the IRS so that they can go after money that's out there. That's like $400 to $600 billion annually. Raise the tax rates, okay? It's hard to get away out of, it's hard to escape a posted tax rate. It's hard to get out of that, okay? And that means the capital gains ones too. Long-term capital gains, bump it 5 points. Fuck it, okay? I don't believe that anybody that pays taxes on long-term capital gains is going to give that much of a fuck. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Show me these people with these 8 or 9 figure net worths who are like, oh, I got to pay 20% instead of 15. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Raise your posted rates. Boom. Huge money. Okay. Chip away at some of the deductions for your middle-class taxpayers. Sorry, I know it sucks, but you want to be more like Europe? You got to pay some fucking taxes, okay? So broaden your tax base. Raise your top rates, okay? By whole points, okay? Hundreds of basis points. All right. And fund your IRS. And that's like the amount of money that you will make doing that. Oh, and then let's say you do that. Okay. If you really want to ball the fuck out, if you really want to ball out on some big shit that needs a lot of political capital, but would get you a lot of money, then approach doing a VAT. Okay. A value added tax, some kind of federal level value added tax. These are the only things that any reasonable, sane person should be talking about. If you're obsessed, you're like, what about if you borrow against the assets and you find it? It's like, okay, let's say that we find a way to make that legal. How much money do you think we've like raised now in taxes? Like maybe $1 billion, maybe. I don't even know. Like it's such a niche, stupid fuck non-issue. Like this is not. We're not legitimately saving money by obsessing over these like super fringe issues. It's not that big of a deal, fam. Technically, can a billionaire transfer their shares to a shell corp and have that entity take out loans using shares as clout? If you transfer shares from one thing to another, that's gonna have to be accounted for on a sheet somewhere, like on a private loss statement or on some kind of like asset transfer. You can't just transfer a whole bunch of wealth into another entity and not have that accounted for somewhere. Like, unless you want to break the law. If you want to do illegal shit, then do illegal shit. But then at that point, why are we writing laws for people who are doing illegal shit? Like. Destiny. Also, the estate tax is evaluated on the gross value of the estate, not based on the tax basis of the asset. A step up literally does not affect estate taxes. Wait, what? The estate tax is evaluated on the gross value of the estate, not based on the tax base. Wait, I thought the estate tax was evaluated. Here's my understanding that like there's a 12 point whatever million dollar deduction that you get against your estate. So if you die and your estate is worth $10 million and then that goes to the next person, then that means that it passes tax free, I think. But let's say that your estate is worth, the gross value of your estate is $5 million, but the tax basis is $2 million. When you die, then oh wait, I'm about to say the exact same thing, aren't I? Because when you die, that step up in basis from 2 to 5 million is accounted for in the estate tax. I'm saying the same thing, aren't I? Am I? Wait, where's top throw? I just said the same thing, didn't I? I guess it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's just the gross value of the asset. And it doesn't matter what the tax basis was. As long as it's under 12 point whatever million, it's going to be exempted anyway. Yes, he's right that the ACB does not account for the inheritance tax. Point of step in basis, though, is to reflect that you pay tax on that value, i.e. you paid inheritance tax on the value of the estate. Therefore, the ACB should just be the value you pay. What does ACB stand for? Also, yeah, property taxes. I don't remember why, but economists like property taxes. Jack those the fuck up. You got a big-ass house that's all wealthy and shit. Okay, you got that nice kitchen. Pay some goddamn money. Fund your fucking schools, you fucking losers, okay? Pay some goddamn money. Tax them. Get this Prop 13 bullshit out of here. And we got in fucking Florida now, the shit says is talking about getting rid of property taxes and shit.